Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. What you want to talk about? Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, Lisa, Lopre, JT, and friends. Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. What you want to talk about? Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, Lisa, Lopre, JT, and friends.
Lisa, Lopre, JT, and friends. Y'all ready to cook up some conversation? Come on.
Kitchen talk.
Hey, welcome to Kitchen Talk CTC, Conversations That Cook. We are so excited you joined us tonight. However, we got a little thing going on. It is FAMU homecoming, the epic return, and JT, myself, and France, we're all proud alumni of the Florida Agriculture and Mechanical University. So honestly, we're out doing some homecoming stuff. If you've never been to a FAMU homecoming, you need to try to make your way. But we're still excited that you're here. We have a throwback for you tonight. It is one of our shows that we did actually live in the kitchen, which we haven't been since the pandemic hit, but you'll be able to see us in our element tonight. We're talking about love languages. So go ahead and chat it up. One of us will be in the chat as well, answering you guys and chatting up with you guys as you're watching. So feel free to chat, to send your messages. We are going to be in there as well in between upcoming activities. So we'll look forward to seeing you live next week in the kitchen for Kitchen Talk CTC, Conversations That Cook. So thank you for joining us. Enjoy this rebroadcast, this Throwback Thursday cast. Have a good one.
Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, conversations that cook.
Kitchen Talk.
CTC, Conversations That Cook.
There you go. There you go.
Kitchen Talk.
CTC.
Conversations That Cook.
Kitchen Talk.
Also, you're the banner
I know,
You're the banner of the law?
and you just couldn't go with the flow of it?
You know.
Really?
I mean,
Every time. You
Conversations That Cook. I was going to
have
cut
to
it
do
and
it
change
like
it up. But
That's okay.
But you were going to be like Uno and throw a reverse and
yes. There it is.
Yeah.
You did, I read the
Very
direction.
good game. Very good game, yes.
You know,
Yes,
the controversy is real. Do you
Yeah.
put a double two on the top of a double two?
Man, listen.
Yes.
No.
Why
Can you
not?
put a draw two on top of a draw four?
No.
Y'all gotta
If
read the
it's-
directions. That's the problem. Got to read the directions.
Directions.
Can you put a draw two on
What
top
are
of a draw
directions?
four? I have never seen that.
You see that?
That's
Directions?
about a fight in the hood.
Okay.
What are directions?
Yeah, right.
So, we're going to have kind of a serious talk today, guys. So, I want to talk about mental health.
Okay.
I think it's important.
It is.
It's very important. So, that's what we're going to dig into today. Y'all good with that?
Right.
All right. So, we're going to go to a commercial break, and then we're going to get back into that.
Make it happen.
If you make a school threat, real or not, you will go to jail.
It is a crime, and you can go to prison for up to 5 years.
If you think making a fake threat is funny, think again.
At the FBI, we take all threats very seriously. We don't want to see kids start off their lives with a felony record. If you see something, say something.
Making false threats is not a joke.
Remember, your actions have consequences.
It can ruin your life. So think before you post.
Kitchen talk, conversations that cook.
All right. Kitchen Talk, CTC, Conversations That Cook.
Yes.
We ready?
I'm ready.
We're ready to cook up one today
This is
for
a
real.
good one.
This is
I
a
don't know
very
if
good
this
one.
always has to be serious though.
Not all the time.
You said that and that kind of triggered something.
But in a way, it kind of
Mental health.
does. So, well, and when I say serious, I guess my question is, like, how transparent are you guys willing to be, like, in this moment?
Oh, I'm usually
An open book.
Okay, open book.
You know I
This one not no open book,
You know
right? The love language show. Yeah, not an open book. Not an open book. So,
I'm trying.
you trying?
I'm trying.
Okay. Okay. So, when I think about, I think we attach some words when we get new words
Right.
to things, new popular words, you know. So before, we didn't really talk about necessarily mental health. It was just if you was all right or if you was crazy,
Right. Right.
you know.
Right.
And especially kind of in our community, you know. And even if you was crazy, people just knew that you was, and they just, you know, they let you be.
Right. Right.
You know, that sort of thing. Or we never really dug into why you were that way.
Right.
It was just, oh, you know, she crazy or he
Right.
crazy. But then there's another kind of, you know, crazy that we do. So somebody is funny, crazy. Like that right there.
Good point. Right. Right. All seen.
On it. But I know during my time, or we close in age, so it's not something that we really heard a lot about growing up.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So if something happened with you, if you had trauma in your life,
Right.
you know, whatever, you prayed about it. You didn't necessarily go and talk to anybody, right?
No.
Maybe your parents, if you had that kind of relationship. Like my relationship with my parents was pretty open. So I could ask them just about anything and they would answer. And my mother was the type of person that felt like no matter your age, if you were old enough to ask the question, then you needed a real answer. She didn't go for that, you know,
No
the stork
sugarcoating.
brought the baby.
Right,
you know,
right,
she didn't do that. If you was old enough to ask the question, she felt like you needed a real answer, not a play answer.
So when you asked about Santa Claus, what you said?
No, Santa Claus. What do you mean?
Santa Claus real or not real?
Santa Claus is real.
Okay, we're gonna stop on that. All right, and then what
Wait,
else
wait.
did you say?
What?
Wait,
I know.
are you saying Santa Claus is not real?
I mean, that's another show.
Yeah, that's another show.
Okay.
That's another show. Ooh, boy. The viewership would have been all over the place on that one.
Okay,
But,
okay, so we're not,
well, that's another
stop
show.
it, yeah.
Right.
So, have you guys ever been to counseling?
I have.
Okay.
I have.
You have?
No.
Have not?
But let me say, I have counselor friends, and we sat and we've had a counseling session. I think that's probably the main
Is that the
reason.
same? No, that might not be the same thing.
It is the same thing. You know
No,
what the
no.
difference is? The payment.
Well, no, and
That's the difference.
okay. To me, the difference is you sought out professional counseling
For an
an issue versus you sitting around with your friends talking about your problems, and because they're educated
they can share
in that arena, then you know they can give you insight. That to me, that's not you seeking counseling. That's just
I disagree with that.
okay.
I disagree with that, and I think that's what helps the black community.
Okay.
Because we get counseling from each other, and we get counseling from people that may have the skill sets, and they show, well, are you okay with that, or how's things going? But in my case, I was able to get the best of both worlds. I have friends who are counselors, and we'll have a conversation, and they can help me out with whatever issue I've had. Or I'll have a friend who say, I would call and say, hey, I need to talk to you about this issue that I'm having. Can we sit and have a session? Can we talk about this particular problem? So it's how we address the issue.
You're real gray over there.
I know. I'm all I know. You know.
So we're gonna come back to this. And we're gonna check on something and we're gonna come back.
All right.
Check it out.
No, we're fine.
Oh. See, that's
You need to go to counseling.
I'm about to say that.
When I was young, I was plagued by fear and self-pity. Drinking made me care less about my insecurities.
My life was in shambles, and I was trying to figure out how to pick up the pieces.
At first, I never drank on the job, but eventually I did.
Removing alcohol wasn't enough. It left me depressed and lonely. That's where AA offered a solution.
The people I met thought like me. For the first time in my life, I felt like I wasn't so crazy.
I remember sitting in the AA meeting and thinking, I finally found a place where I belong.
I never thought I could have made it through those hard times as the happy person I am today.
AA not only keeps me sober, it helps me live a much better life.
I found out I can do this thing, one day at a time. I've never been happier in my life. If you have a problem with alcohol, contact AA. It works for me.
And for me.
And for me.
Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk.
Kitchen Talk, CTC, conversations that.
Ooh, yes.
So JT, why you ain't never been to a counselor?
Break out the violin. Alright. The thing about with me, once again, you know how I am.
How are you, JT?
I keep it closed in a little bit, and I think the thing about being in the black community and the black man is that sometimes we don't feel like we can go to somebody and talk to them about our problems. So I am one of those people. I have talked to a few people, like you have friends that kind of, yes, I have talked to people like that, but I have never paid for a counseling session. I had a issue with a former pastor, and I felt like I could talk to him about some things, but he went and talked to some other people about what we talked about, and it became a joke. So I kind of like cut myself off and shut things down. I started having trust issues about who I can talk to. So maybe that's part of the reason.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
I still do think that a lot of, and this is not just in African American community, this is in all communities.
Mm-hmm.
We just find different ways of dealing with our problems.
Right.
In the African American community, sometimes we just make jokes of it or make light of it, which is why we like watching the comedy shows and the movies, and it's just we laugh through the pain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And again, we'll talk about it with Sister Girl and your homies.
Right.
But you're not sitting with a
right.
person who can give you probably some
sound advice, number one. Yeah.
And two, we probably don't always do the best of research. Like, yeah, he's the pastor, well, what degrees does he have besides his seminary degree, if he has that?
Yeah.
To kind of deal with some of the issues that you might be dealing with.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we find it easier. And again, it comes back to me, access and payment. A lot of people don't have the payment. And this is not a race thing. This is all across the board. There's a lot of white folks who, Spanish folks, Indian folks who, if they had the extra resources, they may.
So why do we feel like we can, I don't want to say find the money, or we'll find access, or we'll find a resource to take care of our physical body? So if I break, my arm, I'm going to go to the emergency room and get that fixed. If I got to be on a credit to pay it off, then I'm just gonna have to be on a credit to pay it, but I got to get that fixed. But we don't view our mental health in that way. So if I'm hurt, then I find a way to get over it, or push it, or suppress it, and then I just move on, and then it becomes a bigger issue. Because trauma does not go away. You just kind of feed on it and build on it and build on it. And if you're not healthy mentally, then it starts affecting other areas in your life.
It does, but it may not be as quick as the arm. So let's just give an example. You're a construction worker. You got some mental issues, but your arm just broke. Which one you gonna fix first? Exactly, because I need to get the money to pay the bills and everything else. And I think a lot of folks do exactly. I need this arm.
You don't need your mind.
But we go to the thing that we did
function.
first. Exactly. I'm functioning. I'm doing just enough to keep it moving. I think that is probably the biggest piece of mental health versus all the other healths, you know, intellectual, financial. It affects me directly, and I can see it. In my mind, I may have some issues, but I can suppress it a little bit. I can laugh it off or go to a movie and kind of, you know, hang out with some friends.
But do you really think you're dealing with it in that sense if you just pushing it off? And that's part of the problem is that we don't deal with it. So hold on. We gotta go to another break. We gotta go to another break. I'm sorry. Like, look at your face.
If you make a school threat, real or not, you will go to jail.
It is a crime, and you can go to prison for up to 5 years.
If you think making a fake threat is funny, think again.
At the FBI, we take all threats very seriously. We don't want to see kids start off their lives with a felony record. If you see something, say something.
Making false threats is not a joke.
Remember, your actions have consequences.
It can ruin your life. So think before you post.
Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk.
Kitchen talk. Talking about mental health.
Mental health.
Mental health.
Yes. Get your mind right.
Get your mind right.
Right.
So, I'm thinking, me sitting around with some girlfriends, having a good cry.
Right.
I don't know if that's getting to the bottom of my issue.
I think it is.
How?
And that's the thing. Again, I'm not trying to put down, just think about it. We have generations of people who did not go and see a mental health counselor or something like that, some type of assistance in that way. But they've done well. They were able to overcome. They were able to get past it. Why? Because they had other mechanisms in place. Now, there's some people who use the wrong mechanisms, i.e. they go drink, they go have some drugs, and then they get caught up in some other stuff.
Right.
And it makes it worse. But there are a lot of people who hang out with the girls. Okay. We had a girls' night. Okay. And now, you know what? A good one would be the guys, and this was in a movie. The guys were going to watch a football game. They worked hard all week. And they have a lot of stress and a lot of things going on in their lives. Barely can pay the bills, barely can do this. But that one football game gave them a sense of, all right, you know what? If they can grind it out on the field, so can we. Mark Wahlberg played in the movie. I cannot remember it right now, but his dad was going through some issues. And again, these are guys who are working hard, but that time with each other, and they dealt with some real issues.
Invincible?
Was it Invincible? Maybe. That'll come to me.
But I don't know if you actually get over your issue or resolve your issue, more so that you just learn how to live with it.
To cope with?
To cope
with it? Okay.
Instead of actual healing.
So who's to tell you that is healed, that you're good,
right?
That you,
and that's my point. Right. That's my point.
Do I gotta go to a counselor to say,
I don't know.
You're good, prescription check, or can I cope with some things and talk to some people? Say, you know what, you're all right. I'm good.
Because you can cope with it.
Or can I surpass it because I'm with this folks? A good example, another one. And I always wonder, well, why y'all praying every week? Monday prayer, Tuesday prayer, Wednesday prayer. But you know what? That prayer helped them through that issue that they had.
Okay.
They didn't have to go to the counselor, but they needed that time with each other to kind of get past that issue. Let's pray it out. Let's work it out. And then after the group, we can discuss, you know what? I saw somebody, or I talked to somebody, or I saw this job that opening, and I know that's what you've been praying for. Why don't you go and take that position?
Okay. So, all of that's good, fine, Danny. I believe in prayer. I believe in God. I love Jesus. Hallelujah.
Yes.
But what happens when that actually doesn't work and you actually have trauma or chemical imbalances and things like that, where you actually need to seek out help?
I think you should seek out the help.
But we don't, because of the stigma.
And there's so many reasons.
Because
we'll be there for sure.
We'll be considered crazy. Right?
But I think that has changed.
Has it?
I believe that has changed. There are a lot of people now who are coming out and saying, you know, I had some issues and I had to see somebody. Again, it comes back down to access and availability. You know, I needed to talk to somebody, not Thursday where you have an appointment, but right now.
Right now.
So they have the counseling centers where you can pick up the phone and talk to somebody and not pay this crazy bill.
True.
So
economics, I get economics.
Economics for sure.
But you know what really makes me think about this and how we in our community, well, I won't even say us in our community, but I do believe it's more prevalent in our community. When I think about what I'm hearing now in the news about pastors committing suicide, well, I thought we said we could just pray about it and bring it to the church.
Right.
So we gotta lift it so that even the strong man, or the strong woman, whoever the pastor is, knows that, oh, you know what, maybe I need some help too. You know, because sometimes we because I'm considered one of the stronger people in my circle. Okay, so my sister says I don't really feel a whole lot. Although I do, I just don't let it show. So when I'm giving you me, I'm giving you my best me. If I can't give you my best me, I'm staying in the room. You know? And so we deal with, so who's to say that when I can't give you my best me, then I don't need to talk to somebody, like professionally, to figure out, okay, why you can't come over there? Like, what if I'm in my room 2, 3, 4, 5 days? You know? So what should I do then? You know, and that sort of thing.
I would hope somebody would come and check.
I would just say, you would hope.
You would hope.
But you know what?
You
That
would
is the mechanism.
But even if they come and check on me because of the stigma, I'm not gonna, I'm cool. I'm good.
And I'm guilty of that.
I'm good.
I'm guilty of that. I know people will be like, I know something bothering you. What's wrong with you? Oh, man, what? Man, I am straight. I'm
you
good.
pound your chest, don't you?
Yeah, and
you just keep going.
Yeah, you just keep going because as a black man, that's what we're taught. You have to just keep
macho.
going. I'm just saying.
You can't cry.
I don't cry.
I like that.
But your heart cries, I bet you.
It does.
It'll tell on you.
You hitting some wounds right now. Okay.
Your heart will cry and it will tell on you. But you rather that cry than your eyes?
Stop trying to read me.
What's the song? What's the song that cry in the dark or pianos cry in the dark? I forgot my girl name. Gloria Stefan. Again, I think there are moments where you have to do that. You have to press forward.
Yeah, press forward.
And you got to know how to press forward and say, you know what, I got this.
So how do you learn to press forward?
How do you learn to
Yeah, who teaches you that? So think about it. How do you learn to press forward? You don't instinctively. Sometimes. Sometimes. Okay. Hold on.
Ooh,
I know. I can't help it. All right. We gotta take a break.
When I was young, I was plagued by fear and self-pity. Drinking made me care less about my insecurities.
My life was in shambles, and I was trying to figure out how to pick up the pieces.
At first, I never drank on the job, but eventually I did.
Removing alcohol wasn't enough. It left me depressed and lonely. That's where AA offered a solution.
The people I met thought like me. For the first time in my life, I felt like I wasn't so crazy.
I remember sitting in the AA meeting and thinking, I finally found a place where I belong.
I never thought I could have made it through those hard times as the happy person I am today.
AA not only keeps me sober, it helps me live a much better life.
I found out I can do this thing, one day at a time. I've never been happier in my life. If you have a problem with alcohol, contact AA. It works for me.
And for me.
And for me.
Kitchen talk, conversations at the kitchen talk.
All right, so kitchen talk. I know.
Conversations at the. You crying in the
I
inside.
know. It's coming out. It's coming out. So when we talk about, you just talked about pressing forward.
Right.
Okay. So pressing forward to me is twofold. Press forward meaning I'm getting over it, I'm learning, I'm healing. That's a press forward. But there's also a press forward that suppresses.
Right.
I'm just gonna show you my best self.
Right.
I'm not gonna work. I'm not gonna try to fix it.
Right.
It is what it is, whatever. Until you get to the point of like a
Explosion.
right.
Right. Oof. And
Right.
you just gotta let it go.
And the explosion
Right.
could be in any mannerism. It
Right.
could be a heart attack. It
Right.
could be a stroke.
Right.
It could be some kind of
lashing out
physical
to
lashing
somebody.
out. Right.
Right.
To somebody that ain't even deserve. I heard
correct.
this quote one time: if you don't heal from something, you'll bleed on the folks that don't. That had nothing to do with it.
Right. Oh my
But we are so programmed
Right.
to just let it slide.
Right.
Or that ain't hurt me.
Right.
I'm
good.
Even though
I'm strong.
you
know
bleeding inside,
right.
but you can't let JT know he hurt me.
Right.
What?
Right.
Oh no. Just this whole prideful.
I wouldn't try to hurt you.
I know. And I appreciate that.
You know what it is? It's what we're doing right now. It's the conversation.
It's the conversation.
It's the talk. It's the getting past it. And there's still something to say about the explosion. We can't always look at the explosion as a negative thing either. Because sometimes you got to let it out. And it's going to find its way. So sometimes we got to just let it explode and then heal from that explosion. But
well, you did say it's a proper place to let the explosion go.
It's a proper place. There's a proper time.
Because when I think of the explosion, usually it's not when it's supposed to be.
Usually.
Right. Like at the time when you really should let it out and let it go, you suppressing, and then it happens in a place in a time when
didn't need to happen.
Right. So that's when we say explosion, that's actually what I think.
And to me, that's still also part of the process too.
It is.
Because sometimes it is the wrong place and the wrong time, but it made you a better person.
Okay.
It got you through the process. Again, we can't just put it in a box.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's starting to happen. People are putting mental health into this box. And this is what it is. This is how we treat it. This is how we fix it. And no, it's so much bigger. And I think that is the piece that's helping us to understand mental health. That you know what, you have an issue with your homeboy. And sometimes you got to sit and talk it through so that y'all can get past it. And it don't blow up later down the road. You ready to shoot him, kill him, blah, blah, blah.
Or you don't know why you feeling the way you feel.
That's correct.
That's the other piece. Sometimes we feel depression and anxiety and everything could be fine.
Right.
On the outside.
Right.
looking in.
Right.
Your job okay,
Oh,
your family okay,
I'm
whatever.
Robin Williams.
But there's something inside of you that's just not quite right.
Right.
And
that's how you go and get the help.
But do you have a friend, like you say, you sit around and talk to your friends.
Right.
Do you have a friend that'll say, you might need to talk to somebody other than me?
And I think that's the other piece, is having people that hold you accountable and hold themselves accountable.
I'm just saying, you can't have a bunch of yes men.
That's correct. That's
you
correct.
have a bunch of yes
Oh,
men.
yeah.
What's good?
All right, bro. We good.
We good.
Yeah.
Nah, bro. If you my friend, I will tell you, look, bro, just go get some help.
Right. I think it's more than that now. It's not just
so
go
you
get
gonna
some
tell
help.
somebody to go get some help, but you won't go.
No.
It's not. It's more than that. And that's why my statement was important. It's not just go get some help, bro. It's, hey, I have somebody that you need to see. I have a number that you need to call. Because go get some help means, okay, I'll just go to this event or do this or whatever. Now you're giving me directions on what I need to do to address that problem specifically. What's my guy name that Andrew that did the food at passed away recently? Travel the world, taste different foods.
Yeah.
Bourdain.
Yeah.
Bourdain. Hey, the guy had everything. You travel in the world, tasting all type of
But
food.
it's something on the inside that ain't quite right.
And sometimes we need to sit and say, okay, you know what? Something's not right.
So who
And I
saw
need you
it?
to go and
But
see
here's
this.
the other thing: who saw it?
Somebody saw it.
That's what I'm saying.
Somebody saw
And we just don't say anything because we so either one, we don't want to get in somebody's business.
That's one.
Or two, but go on in this house,
That's
stay
right.
in this.
That's
Oh,
right.
well, we not raised with that.
Right.
No matter what it was.
Right.
What if it hurt you?
Right.
But you can't talk about it.
So
that's what we would. That's what we would talk. I mean, generations of.
Just keep it
you know. things
that
that go
wasn't
on.
my family. We talked it out.
Well, y'all good, because
You know.
we had generations of pedophilia,
Right.
and generations of this, and generations of drinking, and
Right.
generations of even mental health.
Right.
Nobody talked about it,
Right.
and so now you as the generations come, we just repeating it
Right.
and repeating it and repeating it, and nobody is concerned about the mental state
Right.
of us. We just do what we do. We just keep going.
Right.
We just keep going.
Well, you know what?
I know you got something to say.
We need to stop and make
Insight.
it fix and make it work. We just need to stop and say, hey, this is the person you need to address. Which is why I love talking to my friends who are counselors, because they are actually feet on the ground. And they're really pushing the word. Say, okay, you go to school for this. You be the person that gets out.
So what I do love about Getting to Talk is we have real conversations about real subjects, and y'all need to come back next week.
We'll be back.